That is why people calling for the removal of service chiefs are either corrupt politicians or those working for them. We should not fall in that gambit. Says foreign herdsmen can graze in Nigeria. Hassan also rejected suggestion that herdsmen from other countries should be prevented from grazing their cattle in Nigeria. That is, look at it. Have you seen the report? Look at the established chiefs. I have told you why they are there. The established chiefs, their tenure, they are supposed to be approved by the National Assembly. Buhari's tenure, when he appointed them, have lapsed. This is a new one. Have Buhari seek the approval of the National Assembly to reappoint them? Their stay there are illegal. And as I will decode, I told you, they want to use the established chiefs because their plan is too late to change all these people. They want to use them to finish Nigeria. They are foreign sponsors. They want to use this particular set of foreign service chiefs to finish Nigeria. When they finish Nigeria, then they will eliminate all these service chiefs, including Buhari himself. And then they will close the Nigerian chapter. That is what they plan. So if Nigerians don't, as a matter of fact, insist on the sack of the service chiefs now, they are all in trouble. And by this legal argument that I raise, it is imperative that this Buhari be forced to address a world press conference in Nigeria to do what? Answer questions in relation to his stewardship, especially as it concerns security, for Nigerians to actually know and confirm the sanity of whoever that is there that is masquerading as Buhari. If not, they are finished. They have to insist on that. If not, they are terribly in a very big trouble. Now, what is it? Look at it. You say, why I have not sacked service chief? This is what Buhari said. He said, Vanguard of January 8, 2019. January 8, 2019. President Muhammad Buhari has given reason why he has not changed the service chiefs. Buhari, in an interview on Arise TV Monday night, said that the head, that is him, has to be very careful on removal of the service chiefs because you don't know the ambition of the ones coming up. My understanding of security, I'm quoting what Buhari said, my understanding of security is that when you have a case of emergency, you have to be careful with tampering with the heads of services. This is, again, one of my seasoned experiences. I have been a governor, I have been a minister, I have been a head of state. I came back, I tried to come back to this office 3 times, but luckily on the fourth time, Buhari said, I am meeting the options critically. When you have a case of emergency, if you don't wait for an appropriate time to do it, then you can create competitors within the service. There are so many ambitious people waiting. Only one man can be chief of army staff in the army. Only one man can be the inspector general of police. Don't forget that it was this administration that appointed all the 3. I don't know them. I don't know them on a personal basis. I follow records and thought. I picked the best. Then, of course, their performances may be disappointing, but I accept responsibility for not changing them. My reason is based on my own experiences. Can you see? The people that their tenure have vanished how many times? Their tenure, they have finished their tenure. You keep on reappointing this, and the officers that are supposed to take their positions and continue the growth, they are stunted, they are demoted, and they continue to remain at a particular level. Because of what? The service chiefs are doing exactly what you want them to do. And that is what? Genocidal agenda of cleansing the original owners of the land and supplanting them by the Fulanis from all over West Africa and the rest of the world. As the Mieti Allah have said that Nigeria is the territory that is given to them by Allah, and that they must do everything possible in order to do what? In order to possess it, which is they are pursuing. So this thing is very, very important for us to see, for the world to see exactly what is happening in Nigeria. to know that what is happening in Nigeria is a tailored agenda that is being pursued by the Islamic world. Now look at it. Exclusive Buhari, Boko Haram, Shekau, named among world's most powerful Muslims. Have you seen it? In spite of the atrocities they are committing in Nigeria, they are named among what? World's most powerful Muslims. This is Sahara Reporters of what? Sahara Reporters of October 2, 2019. It said for the fourth consecutive year, for the fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive year, President Muhammadu Buhari, the Sultan of Sokoto, Saad Abubakar III, and the infamous Boko Haram leader, Abubakar Shekau, had been listed among the most powerful Muslims in the world. This is contained in a Muslim publication, the Muslim 500 in its 2020 edition, an annual compilation of the good, the bad, and the ugly in the Islamic world, which was obtained by Sahara Reporters Wednesday. Buhari is listed 17th, and the Sultan of Sokoto 20th most powerful Muslim, and Abubakar Shekau, Boko Haram leader, is one of the 7 most powerful Muslim extremists in the world in the latest report. Billionaire businessman and philanthropist Aliko Dangote and the Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, made the list. According to the publication released on the Muslim 500 website, Buhari has achieved much progress in the areas of corruption, economy, and security in Nigeria. Can you see it? Can you see it? So the man you are condemning, that other Nigerians that are not of Fulani extraction are seen as a genocidal maniac, is now appreciated and do what? Rated as one of the most powerful Muslims. Because of what? Because they are pursuing the tailored agenda of the Muslims. So it's up to their agenda is very open. So it's up to the Christians either to stand up and do the needful, and the world to stand up and do the needful, or what? Or they will perish. Or they will perish. Now look at it. If I should even, the book I wrote, I told you, the book I wrote in 1998 that was published in 1999, that I said that Nigeria was the headquarters of Satan. You know, it was reviewed by some newspapers who debunked what I said. Now let me read extract of some of the extract from the book. Now look at it. The book, Shining the Light Down from Above, as the hero and heroine go home, Abiola's demise, and Nigeria as the headquarters of Satan. Now let me just tell you, let me give just some portion of it. As stated earlier, my inquisitive incursion into unraveling the reason data of Biafra happening all over the world kick-started by Abiola's demise enabled my deeper insight into the spiritual realm that enabled my discovery that Nigeria then was the worldwide headquarters of Satan, and I crafted a book entitled Shining the Light Down from Above, as the hero and heroine go home in memory of late Abiola and the wife, that detailed and cataloged the activities of the negative forces that assassinated them, the spiritual realm, and the happening today, and the discovery that Nigeria was the headquarters of Satan, of the Satan's worldwide activities, where all sorts of evil beings flock to build their nests, especially on issues related to the soon emergence of the Supreme Antichrist. Many local newspapers reviewed the 82-page book written in 1998 but published in February of 1999, among which is the Vanguard newspaper of May. I want people to pay attention to the dates of May 12, 1999, that reviewed the book and posted a negative verdict then, that it is impossible for one to state that Nigeria is the world headquarters of Satan. The Vanguard reviewer of the book, Samson Adioye, entitled A Glimpse into the Home of Ruin, published on page 25 of the Vanguard newspaper of May 12, 1999, stated among other things, furthermore, despite accepting his words as mere divine utterances, it is quite arguable that Nigeria is Satan's last stronghold and permanent residence based on the revelation of the southerliness in the country. Now, that was what? In 1999. And anyone in the world today can best cross-check what has been happening in Nigeria ever since then, and the gruesome and heart-wrenching manner that mass death comes to Nigeria at alarming frequency, and the very unimaginable manner and circumstances in which most Nigerians meet their death most often. They never believed in the prophecies as contained in the book that keeps on proving itself right by hitting its target directly. A minor instance being the issue of hunger that is ravaging the Nigerian landscape today, as I wrote on the last paragraph of page 16, and I'm quoting what I wrote there. Behold, the Grim Reaper, exactly as I wrote it. Behold, the Grim Reaper cometh. I have seen it, I have met it, and the stench is everywhere. I have seen a horde of vulture and a band of locusts from afar off, gathering like a storm destination, Nigeria. I have seen visions of Nigerians dying in their thousands and millions at a go by the wayside and by the seaside. Death of millions of Nigerians. I have seen images of the emaciated bodies of my fellow citizens as a result of what? Hunger. But in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, I command the vultures and locusts to fall into the Atlantic Ocean. They shall eat sand and not human. And in Jesus' name, let there be life more abundant to my people. End of quote. That was what? In 1999. Now, it is a self-expressive prophecy that is being fulfilled today. The Minister of Agriculture, Chief Odwebo, on Saturday, 17th of September 2016, flagged up the control of whaler birds, grasscutters, locusts, and other pests migrating into the country from Niger Republic through its border with Sokoto State. Delivering his speech at the flag-off of the area spray of pesticides to prevent the advancing birds and pests from wreaking havoc in Nigeria, the minister said the federal government acted swiftly to stop the birds, grasscutters, locusts, and other pests from entering Kebbi because it is one of the frontline states that was strategic to its agricultural program. He further explained that the representatives of the federal government were in Kebbi because of the complaint made to them that pests from neighboring countries were threatening rice and wheat farms in the state and were endangering the expected bumper harvest. I'm quoting him. The president asked us to take actions immediately, and so we are here. We have organized some chemicals to engage the pests and birds today. End of quote. He added. Some states like Abia in the eastern part were mentioned, and no fumigation by the federal government of Nigeria should be allowed in the land areas of the former eastern region because their intention for that is evil against the people of that region. People from the former eastern region must also refuse the immunization of their children, either at schools or hospitals with federal government provided drugs or donor agencies from western world, either against polio or any other health-related issues, as their population will be wiped out through that process as their intention is evil. Also in the book, I stated on the last paragraph of page 18 that continued on page 19 that, and I'm quoting from the book, Satan knows that the Spirit of the Lord will raise up a standard against him and dislodge him from his paradise. He also knew that God will need a human agent to accomplish that, since both of them are spirit beings. The only thing the devil did not know is the identity of whom God is going to use. And during the presidential tenure of the ex-president Ronald Reagan of America, or, this is important, or coming back home during the reign of Muhammadu Buhari as the country's head of state, coincided with the time Lucifer took up permanent residency in Nigeria without going on tours anymore. The overthrow of Shagari's government signals the entrance of Satan. That was way back in what? 1999, when the book was published. Now, how many years later? 16 years later, the same Muhammadu Buhari is back in power. And what follows? Death of Nigerians as a result of the prophesied hunger of what? Many years ago, of 1999. The same Buhari is back. And what is following? Mass death of Nigerians. You understand me? So this report is an in-depth one, not even a very, very exhaustive, but a tip of the iceberg that shows the total collaboration and the agenda of Buhari for the record, so that the international community should ask for the immediate arrest of this particular man. And internally, we have to continue to put pressure so that this mad maniac, this mass murderer, must be brought to justice. Now we have to go back to John Kerry's speech and conclude, because this speech I'm doing is a tribute to the 12 tribes of Israel. So it is going to end in part 12 as a tribute to the 12 tribes of Israel. After this particular edition, I'm going to do an in-depth expositions on the relationship between the Igbos, the Niger Delta brothers, and the Israelites in the diaspora. So we go back to John Kerry's speech. Very, very important. Now, back to my decode of John Kerry's speech, published in my late December 2016 edition of my Anointed Treasure magazine. And I'm writing from there, I'm reading from there. The subheading is Biafra to be restored in 2016. Jesus is God, to him be the glory. And I wrote, due to the hurry of this piece, cannot go back to point out other similarities in all the so-called Abubakar Shekau's audio tape speech, Abanawi, Akweda, ISIS, Niger Delta Greenland Justice Mandate, which is the offshoot of the Green Tree Agreement, where it all began and where it is going to end. Where it all began from the ancient of ancients of time, because Bakati Peninsula is the biblical Garden of Eden, where God made a special garden and put Adam and later created Eve, the mother of all human beings, so to say. But Adam was not the father of all. That is exactly why the heathens are raging. I have documented that several years ago that Bakati Peninsula is the Garden of Eden, where God's inheritance and substance for his children was stolen by the devil that begat Eve and brought forth its own children through Eve. Biafra is not about Igbo or Niger Delta. Biafra means the original owners of the earth, and the restoration of Biafra is the restoration of the inheritance of the children of God stolen by the devil. That is the reason for the global silence, conspiracy, and acquiescence by most world leaders for the total elimination of Biafra. God restored the inheritance by himself, through himself, in the person, though unknown to many, even to the devil initially, through himself, in the same trickish manner that the devil stole it, through himself, God, Lord Jesus Christ, the great I am that I am, the great God in the time of the old, that people call Chukwu Kabiama, is no other person in the dispensation of the good news than our God and Lord Jesus Christ. To prove this, and this is very, very important to the world, Biafra restoration in the year 2016, that has barely less than 2 months to end, will be the last end-time practical demonstration by God himself to prove himself again that Jesus Christ is God, which is why, gathered as they can, no man on earth or country can stop the full restoration of the Asian Republic of Biafra. That is what I wrote, and people will say their prophecy did not come to pass, which I will explain. Very, very important, I will explain it, but I have to go through the series before I go it. And I still need what I'm going to say now. I say this issue has been dealt with in so many earlier words and coming words, and available to the whole world as organizations that can publish and market words at the international level are welcome. Up to today, I need people to market all my, all my collections, to the world, so that I'll be able to make some money. Now, this is another subheading: John Kerry and General Aldo Abalaja, and what Biafrans must do. I'm still reading from it. Back to the coded speech of John Kerry, the so-called postman of the Niger Delta Greenland Justice Mandate, General Aldo Abalaja, is John Kerry. They created the organization as cover to launder jihadist soldiers in the so-called Operation Crocodile Smile, so that after their salah, their jihad will start. All the whole terrorist acts carried out by this outfit are the handwork of American government through the DSS and other security agencies, which is why that operation must be halted immediately and both Buhari and others arrested, even as the Christian soldiers rise up immediately against the Muslim soldiers in Nigeria before they wipe out everybody. No need for Biafrans running away from anywhere in the north or southwest. Wherever you are, anywhere in the world is your battlefield, and most likely your burial ground. All schools in Biafra land must remain closed. Parents are advised to withdraw all their sons and daughters in higher institutions if they want to avoid the Chibok guest experience and murder of their sons. Nigerian armed forces and all the security arms of government must be disbanded now, and Biafrans, for whatever reason, must refuse to recognize or fear them unless put under regional control. Think well how to capture all the armaments scattered all over Biafran land and use it against them. As Jane Jacques Rosu noted in Social Contract, and I quote, "Man is born free, yet he is everywhere in chain. That typifies the situation of Biafrans all over the world, and they must, as a result of their ordeal, have at the core of their beings in this epic battle that is almost dragging to a conclusion in their favor, the immortal waste of Thomas Paine during the American crisis." And I quote, "Those who expect to reap the blessing for freedom must, like men, undergo the fatigue of supporting it." End of quote. Therefore, all hands must be on board of giving the last push for the full restoration of the ancient Republic of Biafra that must be in place in the remaining days of 2016. And this is very, very important here. These people will say, you lied, that your prophecy did not come to pass, which is a very important thing I have to explain. And it is on this note that I will explain how I came to America. But before I do this, just a comment I want to make. Actions and reactions are equal and opposite. When there is an action and there is no counter-reaction, the action stays. That is exactly what happens here. This edition of this magazine was published. This is the December edition that is supposed to end in January 2017. That is meaning December of 2016 that is supposed to expire in January of 2017. John Kerry made his speech in 2016. And that was the year they actually wanted to carry out this particular jihad. Up to today, Biafrans don't know how many times the Lord Jesus Christ has been saving them from destruction. One of the most dangerous things, one of the most dangerous blows that have been given to the forces of darkness, there are two things that the devil himself never believed was possible in this world. One is the decode of this jihad that we are in. The devil never knew that a human being can be able to foresee this jihad and decode it as sadly the forces of darkness have planned it. The other impossible thing was the presidential triumph of President Trump. It was against all what the devil plotted. They never believed that Trump will win that particular election. That is the two things that happened. This particular jihad that John Kerry made this speech in Sokoto was keyed to take place at the same time there will be an interregnum in the leadership of the United States of America. What do I mean by that? It will be at the time when the other presidency is coming to an end and a new one is coming up. You know, at that time there are a lot of relaxed things. Nobody can assume total responsibility for anything that happens at that particular time. And that was exactly how they plotted the 9/11 attack, which I will come to. When you look at it, it was coming at a time when Clinton was driving up and Bush was coming in. So within that particular interregnum, that was when they struck on 9/11. So you cannot either hold the outgoing administration responsible, or the incoming one will not even be, really acclimatized to the presidential situation to be able to know what to do. So that created the loophole for their escape. That was exactly what they plotted in this particular instance. But against their wish, God disappointed them by bringing in an outsider, President Donald Trump, who was not part of the plot. It was the coming in of President Donald Trump that stopped this jihad from going on as they planned it. So what did they have to do? They have to suspend that particular jihad. Because they couldn't, because the new administration is in. And being an outsider, President Donald Trump was strongly opposed to the intention of what they want to do at that particular time. That was what saved the slaughter of Biafra. That was what disrupted their jihad at that particular time. And that was instrumental to it. Because when I came here, the processes that brought me to America can be likened to the mission of Jonah to Nineveh. Against all odds, I never wanted to come. I never intended to come because it was this magazine that I published. I wanted to use it to stop that particular jihad. And as I publish it, I have to see to it that it gets to the corners that I wanted it to get to. And it coincided at a time when circumstances beyond my control made it impossible and said that I must come to America whether I like it or not. And I accepted to come based on only two conditions. One, if I come, that the next weekend of my arrival, I have to go back. But I will not stay. And that was the condition that I accepted, and it was agreed upon. And then I arrived in the United States of America on December 23rd, 2 days to the Christmas. That was when I arrived. And immediately I got to America on 23rd December. I came to America with only 3 shares, three clothing, 3 pair of clothing, because I never planned to stay. I didn't come with any other thing because if anybody tells me that I'm going to stay, I wouldn't believe it. I was not prepared for it, and I took some of these magazines that I published and some of my papers, and I left every other thing that I have in Nigeria. So when I came here, it was a very big struggle with my family members. It was almost an opera. Nobody wanted me to go back again. It was a crazy scene. It was like a madhouse, because I insisted that I must go back. So in the process, an argument was going on about my going, and they didn't want me to go, because actually the plot to bring me was to disengage me from, my writings in Nigeria, which they felt was very dangerous, So they needed a leeway to take me off from the scene of Nigeria. So that was what they plotted. So when I came here, and opera came up, and it's becoming like a mass scene, because I insisted that I had to go back. It went on the first day, and the second day it continues. It was almost turning into a war situation. Then at a point, when I looked on the television, the CNN that was, on after that particular time, the mission of my stay to America was made known to me at that particular instance, that I need to save the president-elect of America, Donald Trump. The Spirit of the Lord ministered to me exactly while I was there. It was just like the scripture you find in Luke. You see, on the evening, Jesus told his disciples that they have to cross the river to the other side, and Jesus crossed the river to the other side. That was almost the same thing that happened to me. I realized that the issue of Biafra restoration cannot be achieved in Nigeria at all. If you want to achieve it, by necessity, you have to set fire at their headquarters, and their headquarters in the United States of America. It is when you set fire in their headquarters, that is in the United States of America, that you will be able to choke up the oxygen that feeds these evil forces in Nigeria. That was clearly made known to me at that particular instance. I knew at that instant that I have to save the President of the United States of America, the President-elect then, that is President Donald Trump. But the problem is, how do I do that? I don't know his contact, and the people, my hosts, none of them will be disposed, to look at me even in that direction, because I'm being seriously watched, What do I do? A few days later, I have to manage to pen a letter to him. I don't have his contact, and I don't have. So it was a very miraculous thing that I was able to get his contact, his postal mail address, even those of his children and all that, And then another difficulty was, how do I locate the American post office and all that? For somebody who is just a first-time visitor to the United States of America and all that. So to cut a very long story short, I was able to kind of bridge that particular gap. And God was very fortunate to me that I was able to get that particular contact, you know. And instantly I penned a letter to President Donald Trump. And that is the contents of the letter that I will read. And I know he got it. I penned it through his hotel towers, and I even sent it through, I sent another copy to one of his children. I sent to the Senate leader, you know, Mitch McConnell. I sent to David Nunes. David Nunes, I ran out of copy, and I have to send some incomplete ones to David Nunes. And that was what galvanized his inquiry, you know, into the fictitious Russian meddling into United States of American election. So the contents of the letter I wrote to the then President-elect Donald Trump on 29th of December 2016 is what I'm going to read. And that is how that jihad, the slaughter of Biafrans, was aborted. That made that prediction about Biafra coming in 2016 not to be realized. Even as of the time I wrote that thing, I have no fixed address. And I wrote, this is what I wrote, of life and death import to President-elect Mr. Donald Trump. I'm reading the contents of the letter. Very special greetings to a great man of destiny and God's appointed to rule America at this particular turbulent period, not only in America, but in the whole world. Good day, sir, and very special greetings from the depth of my heart. Sir, with due respect to you, this letter or impromptu note to you is of life and death import and must never be trivialized with. More so, there is no more time to act on it. So every action you must take, repeat, you must take to protect yourself must be taken now, not a minute delay, more or less, but immediate. This may appear a very banal way to relate to you. I am deeply sorry as the urgency of the moment and issues involved demand so. My name is Mr. Chinyere Ezok. I am an immigrant to the United States of America legally. I arrived a few days ago from Nigeria. While in Nigeria, I was a research scientist, author and publisher of some newspapers, including the enclosed journal to you. That is Anointed Treasure Journal. A journal of expression of my research work, especially of foretelling future events long before they happen, including your emergence as the president-elect before the election. Evidence to be submitted later, even on the day, on the eve of the American election. Let them play, let whichever play back their tape, their broadcast on that particular eve. The dominant issue on that day was on American presidential election. And that said on that radio broadcast that nothing in this world will make Hillary Clinton to win that election. That even if she wins that election, nothing in this world will make her to be sworn in as the president of America. That if it happens, let them call me a bastard and let them never believe that I'm a prophet of God. What happened? She won the popular vote. Did she become American president? No. Trump became the American president. People of Radio Biafra, they are not my friends. Let them play back their tape on the eve of that election. You hear it vocally, frontally, and confidently. That is confident declaration. Because I know where I'm coming from. So back to the letter I wrote. A journal of expression of my research work, especially of foretelling future events long before they happen, including your emergence as the president-elect before the election, evidence to be submitted later. In the course of my researches, I made very startling discoveries, first of its kind in the whole world, like the actual location of the Biblical Garden of Eden. I should be given the credit as the scientists who discovered the lost Garden of Eden. Let them go there. The archaeologists go to Bakassi Peninsula, and they will get the archaeological background to the Bible story of Eden. Still continuing. Actual secrets of how life came about. In contradiction to the Darwinian death thesis, how the pyramids in Egypt was actually built in practical terms, not theory, and so on and so forth. In a nutshell, I became a human vessel, or rather custodian of the secret things of the real deity called God. Time will not permit more expanding now. In the course of my research, spending over 20 years now, an incursion into the conformation and decode of the elusive element called the devil, progression in the pursuit of that elusive but real entity, the devil, startling discoveries emanated, notably among them, Democratic Party leadership planned an immediate assassination of your humble self as their planned transition of power from Democrat Party to Republican is only a planned transition of your assassination, so to say, engineering chaos in America all over the world as the only sure way and last solution to be able to accomplish the evil design they have put in place all over the world, especially in the Middle East, Israel and Palestinian imbroglio, and Nigeria. Nigeria through Biafra debacle. Still with the body of the letter. Has one ever wondered to imagine why an outgoing government like the Obama's administration, due to wind up in days, continues to take and implement decisions and policies dramatically opposite or opposed to what an incoming government have in mind? How do they plan to sustain their policies, which they obviously know will be nullified by the new administration under you? Also, how and who planned and sponsored the 9/11 attack on America has been documented by myself. Their planned assassination is the final signal to their already laundered terrorists in the guise of Nigerian soldiers in Biafra land for the elimination of millions of the people of the former eastern region of Nigeria, that is Biafrans, exactly as was done in Rwanda in early 90s, as was ordered by Barack Obama through the U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry in his coded speech delivered in Sokoto, Nigeria on Tuesday, the 23rd of August 2016, which is the subject matter of the enclosed mail to you, because I wanted to stop that jihad. That was why my prediction that it will be restored in 2016 never came to pass. Till the letter continues. I urge you, sir, to read everything in it, and you will begin to understand. I have the complete story in a CD plate, which will be duly communicated to you in a short while as I get a fish address in a few days. It is important to let you know that the CIA and all top security apparatus of your country are all involved in this planned assassination of your humble self, so I suggest that you withdraw to your shell momentarily, shunning all outside engagement for now. Throw a new security blanket over yourself, not from the regular established security outfits. Keep your thoughts and would-be action to yourself until you take over. What is at stake globally is beyond imagination, and so many countries are in alliance with the democratic leadership in what they plan to do against you, namely but not limited to countries like United Nations leadership, like Britain, Germany, France, Cameroon, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, of course, so many Arab states. This planned assassination is the most important project on the front burner in the world today, and everything is being sacrificed for its successful accomplishment, and as far as the plotters are concerned, nothing will hinder its success, and nothing is too big to prevent its accomplishment, no matter how many people die in the process. It's as serious as that, sir, and it's no joke, which necessitated this warning to you as my declaration, unless God wishes otherwise, are immutable. If they fail, the consequences will be too much against them. Apart from humiliation, their new what other project will be dismantled. Personalities like Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, outgoing President Barack Obama, John Kerry, former United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan, and a host of others will end up in prison, as that to them is unpalatable, is as high as serious as that. Sir, obtain John Kerry's speech in Nigeria from the internet and watch and match against my decode, and things start to be clear, just as his recent speech on two-state solution in Israel. Yes, Israeli Prime Minister was right that United States of America engineered the United Nations resolution against Israel only to abstain from voting in order to cover their track. As the Lord liveth, I will give you guys that will survive your presidency against my wish. That will survive your presidency. Against my wish, forces beyond my control brought me to America, and now I can understand why you must make a categorical statement to halt their planned genocide in Nigeria through the so-called exercise crocodile smile, python dance, ego eye, shark bite, Niger Delta Greenland Justice Mandate, the DGS, the DSS, and so on and so forth. I wish you the very best, sir. I will get across to you again when I have a place of contact. May the Almighty Lord and Savior Jesus Christ guide and protect you throughout all the evil plans of the evil forces as you do the will of God who made you president. Long live President Donald Trump, and God bless. This was the letter I posted to Donald Trump that saved his life. I enclose that particular journal to it. And look at the journal. The journal, even only the front cover of the journal, is comprehensive enough. I even did an advert for him on that particular journal. Look at it. World most exclusive and explosive expo since the war began. Nothing like before it or afterwards. Just the cover I'm reading. Anointed Treasure Journal, first read Holy Read series to American President-elect Donald Trump. Biafra restoration is the only weapon that will guarantee his presidency, consolidate it, and also save his life. That is the opening remark I made in that thing. What is it? Mene, take care of Rationale. Here, O people of the world, the restoration of the ancient Republic of Biafra will be achieved in the remaining days of the year 2016, not in the name of Chukwuke Abiyama, but in the name of our Lord God and Savior, Jesus Christ. And what was the edition? December 17th to end of January, December 17th, 2016 to end of January 2017 edition. That was why I never wanted to stay. And that cost me a lot of things. It was later I realized when some time ago when I traveled to Nigeria, I discovered that as soon as I left Nigeria, the first thing they did was to set fire on all the books I have in Nigeria. And my manuscripts, a lot of manuscripts. That is two of the greatest negative things that have happened in my life. The loss of all my books. And then I have 2 full Ghana must go of selected praise worship songs. When I traveled back to Nigeria some years later, I couldn't find any of them. All those things have been destroyed. Those songs that I specially selected, just to praise my Lord. So those have been the 2 most terrible things that I lost in my life. Now, back to the magazine itself. If you go to the page 53 of that magazine, I congratulated President Donald Trump. Page 52 and 53 of the magazine. Even the decode I'm reading about John Kerry is only a few pages, out of what is contained in that particular magazine, And to some people, when I talk about this magazine, like I said, some people may say, you're lying and all that. I gave copy to President Donald Trump in 2016. I posted it to his office, to his hotel and all that, Registered mails, And I gave it to the Senate leader, Mitch McConnell, the same registered mail. Then later on, as they came on board, former National Security Advisor to President Trump, John Bolton, I gave him a copy. Even his chief strategist, Steve Bannon, I sent copies while I was in America. So it's not something that I made up here. I'm giving you things that have evidences. In Nigeria, I gave a lot of copies to some people. Even the former secretary of Khan that was murdered by the Khan leadership, Asake, it was as a result of this magazine that he was murdered. Asake gave it to him. No need to mention other people. So when you go to the page 52 and 53 of this particular magazine, let me start with page 52. Look at it. Anointed Treasure Journal outline for Donald Trump. First line of action after 20 January 2017. What I advise him to do immediately he is sworn in. Donald Trump must avoid the pitfalls former President Bill Clinton laid down for his successor, former President George Bush, that led him to the Iraq disaster. 2. He should neither seek the counsel nor the advice of President Barack Obama and his Democratic partners when he takes over as the president. He should, on the first week of assumption of the presidency, sack all political appointees and all top officers in the whole strata of the U.S. security agencies, initiate probe into the 9/11 attack with special emphasis on the role Saudi Arabia government played in the whole episode. Also, Hillary Clinton's use of private email kidnap of the Chibok schoolgirls in Nigeria, and the activities of John Kerry as regards his speech in Sokoto State that is in discourse in this place. We wish him good luck and God bless. Now, on page 53, President Donald Trump. I did a full-page advert congratulating him with his picture there. For good or bad is God's hand of judgment in America, nay, the world. That is the caption. President Donald Trump. For good or bad is God's hand of judgment in America, nay, the world. Congratulations to a man of destiny on the momentous occasion of winning the United States presidency and another momentous occasion of your being sworn in as the president of the most powerful nation on earth today, come January 20, 2017. Be rest assured that you are encompassed by be rest assured that you are encompassed by uncountable arrays of witnesses and warriors, thwarting all the evil plots of the dark forces that want to assassinate you, even as we do hope you will not disappoint God and the American people that elected you into office in the titanic battles ahead. Congratulations, sir. Anointed Treasure Journal Management. I even expected him at least to pay me for all this advice I gave him. Up to today, nothing. Suffice it to say that if I had not come to America, and he knows it, President Trump most probably wouldn't be alive today. Most certainly, if he's alive today, nothing in this world would have made him to be the president of America. Even the Russian probe. I take credit for it. I was the one who saved him from the Russian probe. I was the one who saved him from the Russian probe. I take credit for that. And he knows it. What was the global agenda of all these American and Western powers and all these European powers before President Donald Trump came on board? Remember the upsurge in refugees, the open borders, that they reached agreement to take in much of refugees that is the problem in Germany today? Why do you think they did that? That was their plot that time to disembowel Africa, especially the Biafrans, when the jihad started. Their plot to take over our place. Why is it that immediately Donald Trump took over all those things, they halted all those particular things? Because when Donald Trump came over, he was imbued with a lot of Christian nobilities. So he couldn't go on with what they planned. And that was what saved the Biafrans. God used him to save the Biafrans. If not, the jihad, our people would have been wiped out. But it is a pity that President Donald Trump had deviated from his calling. Over time, he now, American First. What does American First do? American First is carrying out the already programmed targets of the country, whether it is negative or whether it is positive. A president must abide by it. If you refuse to abide by it, the CIA will assassinate you. So President Trump derailed from his calling by God. Look at him, he's finished. America is equally finished as of today. He's finished. Go and look at American currency. Coming down, you think it's a joke? There's going to be a collapse of global economy, and it's already started. President Trump disappointed God because he was to restore Biafra. But he deviated and used the Biafrans to do a deal. That was what happened. So this issue of 9/11 attack, I will treat it even in this series, how it happened, how they killed it in, you know, with the jihad that was supposed to take place in Nigeria, targeted at the same time. Look at the time that 9/11 attack took place. That was why they escaped, because President Bush Jr. had no comprehension of where to start. And it was planned during Bill Clinton's administration, by his own administration. And the outgoing administration are not willing to cooperate with the new incoming administration. That was why they were able to escape, which I will deal in details. Just like the predictions I make today, I'm only interpreting the moves of the forces of darkness. So when I interpret, because I'm following the devil, you know, and I'm matching every move that he makes. So when I make a prediction based on their move and they suspend the move, then it means that the prediction will not come to pass until they carry it out. Then when they carry it out, the prediction comes to pass. Like the prediction that Biafra will be restored in the year 2020 is based on the fact that they have decided to implement their suspended jihad. So their actions now are begetting a reaction. So let's just examine this news report. Let me just go to this news report to say Hillary Clinton compares Russian interference in 2016 to 9/11 attack. This is the Washington Post of October 2, 2018 by Felicia Sommeg. So I have to read this report because I'm still going to be going to the world. You know, and the source of all those people that were lost in 2017 by unveiling their killers, so that their soul will rest in peace. So I'm going to do it. After this edition, that's what I will do. So I'm reading the report. The former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton drew a comparison Tuesday, that is October 2, 2018, between the September 11, 2001 terrorist attack and Russian efforts to influence the 2016 election, saying that in both cases, a foreign power had attacked the United States, but that in the latter, the president had done nothing. They are the people who plotted it, and I prove it. Clinton, the 2016 Democratic presidential nominee, also said she thinks Russian interference and other factors certainly altered the outcome in several parts of the country during the last campaign. She criticized President Trump's response to last year's violence in Charlottesville, saying he has thrown his lot in with white nationalists. It was the Democratic Party that plotted that Charlottesville suprematist riot in the United States of America. They were the people behind it. Clinton made a remark during a wide-ranging interview at the Atlantic Festival in Washington. The U.S. intelligence community has concluded Russia interfered in the 2016 election with the goal of boosting Trump's campaign. The interference including hacking that targeted the Democratic National Committee and the email of former Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta, as well as the use of fake social media accounts to spread false information. The hacked emails were allegedly transferred to anti-security organization WikiLeaks. And that brings us to the Hillary Clinton. I have to suspend this report for, I will elaborate, then I'll go on. That brings us to the so-called Hillary hacked on Hillary Clinton's email. The hack, it was this American CIA that hacked into Hillary Clinton's email. They were the people who hacked it. Where is it? Where is it? They chased Elizabeth Money. Where is she? American activist and whistleblower. She is a former United States Army soldier who was convicted by court-martial in July 2013 of violation of the Espionage Act and other offenses after disclosing to WikiLeaks nearly 750,000 classified or unclassified but sensitive military and diplomatic documents. She knew the truth. It was the CIA that hacked into Hillary Clinton's email. They were the people who did it. Chesman knew it. This man, Assange, the WikiLeaks founder, he knows it, and that was the problem he had. So when you see him, he ran into Ecuador's embassy, where he stayed for nearly 7 years. He was actually running away from the CIA, because they knew, he knew the truth. They knew that he knew that it was the CIA that hacked into Clinton's email till tomorrow. That is the thing. Look at the girl. What was the last act Obama did? A girl that committed such a high treasonable offense. Obama pardoned her immediately. And what happened? She was in prison from 2010 until 2017 when her sentence was commuted by Obama. Manning is currently in jail for her continued refusal to testify before a grand jury against Julian Assange. Yes, she refused because the CIA forced her not to testify. That is the truth about the whole thing. That is why they wanted to get Assange by all means. Only Assange knows the reason why he doesn't want to open up, and that's why he's afraid. But they are going after his life in order to keep the secret of the hack of Hillary Clinton's email till today. That is exactly what happened. Now let me continue with the report. It says, asked today by Atlantic Editor-in-Chief Jeffrey Goldberg whether she believes Russia has stolen the election from her, Clinton responded by pointing a number of factors. And I'm quoting her, I believe that the combination of the Russian campaign, the WikiLeaks being the cutout for Russian stolen information, the role that Cambridge Analytica and other organizations like that played in connection with Republican apparatus, the Republican National Committee and other allies, and the Trump campaign certainly altered the outcome in enough places that we have to ask what really happened, she replied. And you know, she wrote a book, What Happened, which I will still come back to. Cambridge Analytica has come under criticism for the use of personal Facebook data in elections, but the political consultancy influence on the 2016 campaign remains unclear. Clinton told Goldberg that while she did not want to look backward, what we know now is incredibly troubling, she added. 2016 was the first time that we have been attacked by a foreign power and have done nothing. It will be like, I can't even imagine. I mean, it's a horrible example, but after 9/11, if George W. Bush said, well, I don't have time to meet, I don't have time to worry about this, it was terrible. We feel sorry about it. We will rebuild New York and the Pentagon, but we are not going to worry about it. End of quote. Well, at a certain point, that is what this is turning into. The evidence to continue to accumulate, Clinton said. Clinton has previously been critical of Trump's mixed messages on Russia election interference and his praise for Russian President Vladimir Putin, although Tuesday appeared to be the first time she made a comparison to the September 11 attacks. She made the comparison because it's an insider's work, and she knew how it was plotted. Still continuing with the report. Clinton was also asked whether she thinks Trump is a racist. At first, she declined to answer directly, but said the president had aligned himself with racist groups and individuals. Quoting her, I think he has thrown his lot in with many people and groups whose stated objective is white nationalism, white supremacy, end of quote, Clinton said. Quoting her again, I mean, how could you explain what he did and why after Charlottesville? She noted that after the September 11 attacks, President George W. Bush visited a mosque to tell American Muslims, we are not at war with you. Have you seen the people that are pushing the Sunni Islam in Nigeria? But that is not what we got after Charlottesville, Clinton said. And that remains one of the most troubling episodes in the presidency. Charlottesville, who organized it? The Democratic Party of America were responsible for the white supremacist uprising you see in Charlottesville. They were responsible for it. They plotted it. If Trump had not emerged as the president of America today, America would have been in the greatest problem that you wouldn't imagine. then America would have entered into slavery. Trump emergence saved the situation for them. Still continuing with the report. Moments later, Clinton went on to say Trump had been racist, he's been sexist, he's been Islamophobic, he had been anti-LGBTO. I mean, there's a long list. He has the views of America that is incredibly constricted, and he talks to that America. End of quote. She said. He talks to them all, she talks to them all the time, and it is by no means a majority, as we know, but it is a very hardcore who are responding to him and supporting him for a variety of reasons. End of the report. Now, let us come back to the issue of the Russian probe. Russian probe already, I decoded it even, I started following it even right from before I came to America. I already decoded it. I came to America and the mail arrived, first few days I was able to integrate myself into the main heart engine of American politics and even almost became the driver of that locomotive. Now look at this report I want to read. Russia meddling. This is U.S. probing origin of Mueller's probe for crime. This is, I'm reading PM News of October 25, 2019. Let me just read a little bit of this story so that I can interpret it. It said the United States Justice Department had begun a criminal investigation into the origin of the Robert Mueller's probe into Russian interference in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. The development was first reported by the New York Times. The authors could not confirm whether a grand jury had been convened in the investigation. U.S. Attorney General William Barr launched a review earlier this year to investigate President Donald Trump's complaint that his campaign was improperly targeted by U.S. intelligence and law enforcement agency during the 2016 election. Democrats and some former law enforcement officials say a barrister is using the Justice Department to chase unsubstantiated conspiracy theory that could benefit the Republican president politically and undermine former special counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation. As part of his inquiry, the barrister has asked Australian and British justice officials for assistance and visited Italy twice, meeting intelligence agents in Rome in August and September to learn more about people mentioned in Mueller's report. Mueller's investigation found that Moscow interfered in the 2016 election to help Trump and lead to criminal conviction of several former campaign aides, but Mueller concluded that he did not have enough evidence to establish a criminal conspiracy with Russia. Now, what is the origin of the Russian probe? Which I have already told you what they plotted against President Donald Trump. When he took precautions and they were not able to assassinate him. Go and look at when Trump was even being inaugurated, he did not use the normal American security outfit. Go and look at it. He hired his own personal guards to protect him. So when they failed, when they were not able to succeed, that was when they triggered off the Russian particular probe, which I told him, which I already signified in the letter that it was a fabricated thing to do him in. What was the origin of the Russian probe? Even before Hillary Clinton wrote her book. What happened? I already decoded it. I documented it and I have a manuscript on it. That I would even be delighted if I can get a reasonable publishers, who can commission me to publish the book. Let me go right inside the book Hillary Clinton wrote to show you the origin of the so-called Russian probe. And that will bring us to look at the origin of the book. Let me get into the origin of the book. The book Hillary Clinton wrote herself, What Happened? By Hillary Rodham Clinton. When you go to page 64 of the book, page 64 of the book to page 66, that is where you get the origin of the Russian probe. I decoded it. Let me quote from the book, from her book herself, you know. I'm just reading the book I bought. I'm reading the book. I'm reading loud from the book I bought with my money. And I'm reading loud from here, from the second paragraph. I also wanted to build on the best part of my 2008 efforts, especially the fighting spirit of our campaign in Ohio and Pennsylvania. We are associated in forming a bond with working-class voters who felt invisible in George W. Bush America. I had dedicated my victory in the Ohio primary to everyone who is ever been counted out but refused to be knocked out, for everyone who has tumbled but stood right back up, and for everyone who works hard and never gives up. I wanted to bring that spirit to the 2016 campaign along with the best lessons of Obama's victory. We sought to set the right tone with my announcement video. It showed a series of Americans talking excitedly about new challenges they were taking on. Two brothers starting a small business, a mom getting her daughter ready for the first day of kindergarten, a college student applying for her first job, a couple getting married. Then I appeared briefly to say that I was running for president to help Americans get ahead and stay ahead, and that I was going to work hard to earn every vote. This campaign wasn't going to be about me and my ambition. It would be about you and yours. There were other lessons to put into action. In 2008, very, very important, the origin of the Russian scam burger, you know, called the Christopher Steele report. This is the origin, how it was cooked up. In 2008, the Obama's campaign had been well ahead of us in using advanced data analytics to model the electorate, target voters, and text messages. It focused relentlessly on grassroots organizing and winning the delegates who would actually decide the nomination. It also built a no-drama campaign organization that largely avoided damaging infighting and leaks. John Podesta and I talked with President Obama and David Plouffe about how to construct a team that could replicate these successes. Plouffe was a big fan of Robbie Mook, whom I ultimately chose as campaign manager. Robbie had impressed David by helping me win against the odds and against him in Nevada, Ohio, and Indiana in 2008. In all these states, he put together aggressive field programs and competed hard for every vote. Then he went on to manage my friend Terry McAluffe's successful long-shot campaign for governor of Virginia. Robbie was on a roll, young, but like Plouffe, highly disciplined and level-headed with a passion for data and the talent for organizing. Huma Abedin, my trusted and valued advisor for years, would be campaign vice chair. President Obama praised his posters, Joel Benetton and John Anzolin, and focus group expert David Bender. So a hired author as well as veteran of the Obama data analytical team, Elan Krieger, Navin Nayak, came on board to coordinate all these different clienteles of opinion research. Yes, I had to keep it all right, all straight. Posters call up a random sample of people and ask their opinions about candidates and issues. Focus group gather a handful of people together in a room for an in-depth discussion that can last several hours. And data analytics team make a lot of surveys called crunch, huge amounts of additional demographic consumers and polling data and feed it all into complex models and try to predict how people will vote. These are all staples of modern campaigns. To help guide messaging and create ads, I hired Jim Margolis, a respected Obama veteran, and Mandy Grunwald, who had been with me and Bill since our first national campaign in 1992. They worked with Orion Shaw, my director of paid media, and several talented and creative ad agencies. I thought Jim's and Mandy's partnership would represent the best of both worlds. That is what I was going for with all my hiring decisions, mix the best available talent from the Obama campaign with top-notch pros I already knew. The latter category included Dennis Cheng, who had raised hundreds of millions of dollars for my 2006 Senate re-election campaign and 2008 presidential campaign, and later helped build up the Clinton Foundation endowment. Million more, one of the most experienced political operatives in democratic politics and the veteran of my husband's White House, and Joseph Villarreal, a business leader who had worked with me as state and came on board to serve as my campaign treasurer. As I built my team, I was focused on two tricky areas: how to strike the right balance with President Obama and his White House, and drum roll for emphasis, how to improve my relationship with the press. The challenge of striking a balance with President Obama wasn't personal at all. After 4 years in his cabinet, we liked and trusted each other. There aren't many people in the world who know what it is like to run for president or live in the White House, but we had that in common, and it gave us a special bond. When he finally passed healthcare reform, something I had fought for a long time and had, I was overjoyed and gave him a hug before a meeting in the White House Situation Room. After his rough first presidential debate with Mitt Romney in 2012, I tried to cheer him up with a photoshopped image of Big Bird strapped to Mitt's family's car. Romney had promised to slash funding for PBS and also famously took road trips with his dog on the roof of his car. This is exactly the origin of the Russian probe. This is what they formulated. They wrote it out. And what did they do? They gave it to late Senator McCain. It was McCain who took this particular thing to the M16 agent that is called the former M16 agent, British agent, that is called Christopher Steele. Then Christopher Steele, when McCain took it to Christopher Steele returned it as if he was the one that wrote it, and passed it to the same McCain, and McCain gave it to the former FBI director, James Comey, who pretended, and that was how the origin of the Russian scamburger started. That was the origin. Look at McCain himself. Senator McCain, what happened? Senator John McCain, he had an emergency surgery on July 14, 2017 to remove a brain cancer tumor, a brain tumor. That was what the office said. On July 19, 2017, his office revealed that the tumor was associated with a what? Glioblastoma. He died on August 25, 2018. What people did not know is that McCain intentionally committed a medically induced suicide. That was what happened. It was not the brain cancer that killed him. They accelerated the disease to, to graduate to glioblastoma in order to make way for his mother, for his acquiescence in the suicide that he committed, just to break the link that will link him to Christopher Steele. That was exactly what happened. This is the origin of the Russian dossier. If they say it is a lie, let Mueller, the so-called Robert Mueller, what is it? His investigation started from a fixed position, and he was just searching for facts to float all the series of his investigation. So already there was a fixed conclusion, and he was just making merry, to arrive at a fixed conclusion. He never had any facts. If he said he had a fact, let him walk back his judgment and show the world how Paul Manafort, Trump campaign manager, came into focus. It was the Trump former chief strategist, what is it, Steve K. Bannon, that led him to it. When he advised Mueller to go chase the money, to trace the fund. That was how exactly, because Mueller had no clue. Just exactly what is happening today. There was no evidence that is linking him. Now look at it. What did the U.S. District Judge, TSA list, what did he ask Mueller when he was handling for Manafort case? Look at what he said. He said, you don't really care about Mr. Manafort. The judge said, you really care about what information Mr. Manafort can give you to lead to Mr. Trump and his eventual prosecution or impeachment. Look at it. If Mueller said it's a lie, let Mueller walk back his judgment, all the people he prosecuted, and show all the linkages, the facts that linked him from the beginning to the conclusion. Let him show us. Manafort is a typical example. Let him show the world how Manafort name appeared and came to be. This is the origin of the Russian probe. That is why they couldn't do anything about it. So I said, Donald Trump, I have a full manuscript. I traced it in America here. So that is exactly what happened. So don't let them deceive you. You understand me? I am going to treat in depth. When I elaborate all these magazines I'm reading, it's only just very few pages, that I'm translating. And I would like to include the complete text of John Kerry that I'm decoding at the end of this particular thing when we are rounding up. He mentioned the Chibok school girls and he mentioned this 9/11 attack. So I am going to do a panoramic, expose on the 9/11 because it is the same gang that are still doing all these particular things, starting from the mother of Abiola. Back to my decode of John Kerry's speech from where I stopped. Now, this is the subheading in my Anointed Treasure Journal. How they will root their military operation. Now, quoting John Kerry. The fact is that through the multi-national joint task force with help from the United States, France, and the United Kingdom, Nigeria and its neighbors are still degrading Boko Haram's capabilities. Their country has taken back most of the territory that the terrorists had once captured, and Cameroon, Niger, Chad, and Benin have made important contributions and enormous sacrifices in areas along Nigerian borders. End of quote. My translation is just the same old combination or alliance of international collaborators and their counterparts to defeat Biafra and totally capture them using most of the 20 jihadist soldiers from Cameroon, Chad, Niger, Benin, and so on and so forth for the speedy prosecution of the war in Biafra land, as the regular army most certainly will have divided opinion, even though most of the non-Christian soldiers would have been eliminated and totally incapacitated before the jihad will continue. Finally, on this stanza, armaments will be supplied by America. I want people to note, and this is very, very important. When was this written? 2016. Finally, on this stanza, armaments will be supplied by America, Britain, France, and others, routed through France to Cameroon, Chad, Niger, Lagos, Ogun, through Benin Republic, direct into Nigeria on notice, since Biafrans in the far-flung northern states have been disemboweled from these areas. States like Adamawa will receive heavy military hardware for the northern jihadis disguised as Nigerian soldiers. From Adamawa, for instance, they are already in Taraba State. In Seko, Benue, others moved down to Cross River, Enugu, Ebonyi, automatically taken. From Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Abia is already encircled. Heavy armaments from Bonu, Yobe, Aziz, they are already in Gombe. Plateau is encircled. Cut off from Bauchi, Kaduna, Abuja is also encircled. From Niger, Nasarawa, Kogi is already theirs, and shares border with 9 states, where River Niger and Benue meet, as Navy is primed and set, as Cross River and the Gulf of Guinea is cut off. I have to repeat this, and it is very, very important. 2016. Finally, on this stanza, armament will be supplied by America, Britain, France, and others, routed through France to Cameroon, Chad, Niger, Niger, Lagos, Ogun, through Benin Republic, direct into Nigeria on notice, since Biafrans in the far-flung northern states have been disemboweled from these areas. States like Adamawa will receive heavy military hardware for the northern jihadis disguised as Nigerian soldiers. Very, very important. I'm going to pause here. Now, I want you to juxtapose this report of 2016 with the present realities. Let me read one news report to substantiate exactly what I'm saying. You have seen it. States like Adamawa will receive heavy armaments. Now look at it. To start with, why are they clearing all these minorities? When you hear all these killings in the northern Nigeria, you will think the Muslims are killing themselves. It is not. Go and watch. Any place they are killing, farmers traders clash in the north. Go and look at it. People think it's Fulani is killing themselves. One, Fulanis are not, they don't farm. When you hear them in all these things, what they are doing is they are clearing up the Christian communities in those areas. Why are they clearing out the Christian communities? To ensure that they will have no internal enemy when they are ready to march for their jihad, which is now, and that nobody will see exactly what they are doing. Now look at this news report, like what I said about states like Adamawa receiving armaments. This is I'm quoting Sahara report of August 24. Note the date, 2019. Note when this decode was written, 2016. Now, I want you to look at this. Those who are saying America, Trump will come ahead and get Biafra. Let them listen to this report. 6 mine resistant military vehicles intercepted at Nigeria-Cameroon border. Sahara reporters of August 24, 2019. He said, now this is the body of the report. No fewer than 6 mine resistant military vehicles have been intercepted by a joint security operative in Konko, a border community in Maiha local government area of Adamawa State between Nigeria and Cameroon Republic. It is not clear yet if the vehicles were exiting or coming into the country when they were intercepted. A source in the Nigerian Customs Service who spoke with Sahara reporters said, "We have the 6 mine resistant equipment at office in Yola. It was a joint operation involving our officers, the Department of State Service, Army, and others." Sahara reporters learned that the military command in Abuja had ordered an urgent investigation into the discovery. Now, what is the result of the discovery? Look at it. I want you all to listen. Custom hands over 6 American military vehicles. This is Vanguard of October 11, 2019. He said the Nigerian Customs Service has handed over the 6 mine resistant multi-purpose vehicles to the American government. I hope the world is listening of their capability. Speaking on the occasion of the handing over, the Comptroller of Customs in charge of Adamawa and Taraba states, Kamadin Ulumo, said it was a directive from the National Security Advisor to release the vehicles to the American government. Quoting him, "I am directed by the National Security Advisor to comply, release and hand over the vehicles to the American government." Kathleen Fitzgibbon, the Deputy Chief of Mission Embassy of the United States of America in Nigeria, thanked the Nigerian government for its understanding. Anytime there is killing in Biafra land, let all the whole blacks worldwide rise up against the whites in all the whole capitals of this world with immediate effect. Have you seen it? This is exactly what they have plotted. Chief Security Advisor, Nigerian Army must be disbanded now. Must, as a matter of emphasis. If not, we are finished. Now look at it. Continue from there, post. Now let me tell you how you people don't know how this attack. They have already finished the attack. Even before I say it, look at it. Rep. Let me read this report. Rep Committee to engage United States counterparts over Super Talcon Jail. This is Vanguard of October 16, 2019. It said the Chairman House Committee on Air Force, Rep Sheku Koko, APC Kebi, says the committee would engage its United States counterpart to hasten delivery of the Tukamo jets paid for by the federal government. Koko made this known at the inaugural meeting of the committee on Wednesday in Abuja. Quoting him, "We contacted United States Congress Committee on Air Force and I want to assure the Air Force that by January next year, we are going to engage the committee on our Super Talcon. We are aware of the engagement and the money paid into it. We have promised to do something about it," he said. Now recall that the federal government had in 2018 paid $496,374,470 for the super jets, which should be delivered in 2020. Koko commended the force for decorating the first female fighter jet pilot and a female helicopter after over 55 years of its existence. In his remark, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Vice Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, said that NAF was currently engaged in 6 major operations across the country, as well as other areas with pockets of security concern. In the past 5 years, NAF has flown about 65,000 hours in order to ensure that our country remains fairly secured and our people are able to substantially go about their business without hindrance. Out of this number of hours, we have flown about 21,912 hours in the Northeast alone. We have tried to project air power within and outside the country. We were in Malawi to deliver federal government relief materials. We were in Mozambique during the flood disaster to deliver relief materials. We were in Gambia to support the democratic process in order that ECOWAS mandate, in the process order of the ECOWAS mandate, and we are the only force that went there with flight jet. We were in Sierra Leone and then in Cameroon, he said. Look at it, relief material to other places while you lock your border here, starving the people of the former Eastern region. The American government will never hand over these jets to the Nigerian government. Look at it. Upon all the aircraft that the Nigerian government has and other have in the Boko Haram, what are the aircraft meant? The aircraft are meant for what? War in Biafra land. So we have to sue the American government because they are directly responsible for the genocide that we are facing in Nigeria. And unless they halt this jihad, any killing in Biafra land, there is going to be disaster all over the war capital. So Trump himself is very much involved in this genocidal inclination against the Biafrans. He traded them. And all the whole armament that the Biafran government are using, he have already supplied them to the Saudi Arabian government. That is exactly what he's playing out. So where did that stop? Now look at it. From the difficult I'm saying, as a state like Adamawa will receive heavy military hardware for the northern jihadis disguised as Nigerian soldiers from Adamawa, for instance. This is how they will do their attack. From Adamawa, for instance, they are already in Taraba State, in Steku Benue. Then others move down to Cross River. From Cross River, they are already in Enugu, Ebonyi automatically taken. From Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Abia is already in Steku. Heavy armament from Bonu, Yobe Aziz, they are already in Gombe. Plateau is in Steku, cut off from Bauchi. Kaduna, Abuja is also in Steku. From Niger, Nasarawa, Kogi is already theirs. That shares border with 9 states, where River Niger and Benue meet, as Navy is primed and set, as Cross River and the Gulf of Guinea is cut off. Go and look at it. It's already cut off. Now, to substantiate what I'm telling you, look at this report. Army to establish special forces battalion barracks in Kogi, Buratai. This is a vanguard of April 6, 2019. He said the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuko Buratai, said Army authorities had approved the establishment of a special force battalion barracks to be located in Okene, Kogi. Buratai disclosed this on Friday to journalists in Okene after inspecting the proposed site of the new barracks at Okene Secondary School in Okene local government area. Represented by Major General Ademu Salihu, Commander Training and Doctrine Command, Tradoc, Mina. Buratai said that the new barracks would enhance security of lives and property in Kogi. He named it 109 Special Force Battalion, Barracks, Okene, and said that its establishment was prompted by the strategic importance of Kogi in Nigeria, being the gateway between the north and the south part of the country, exactly established for the purpose of carrying war against the Biafrans. Keep quoting him. So the federal government considered it very appropriate to locate the barracks in Okene in order to ensure the security of the people of their on this important corridor. We all know the importance of security in the development of any nation. If we get the security right, every other thing will fall into place. We have done our assessment. We have gone around to a couple of places, and usually there are number of considerations such as technical and tactical that will determine what the location should be. We have looked at the facilities and infrastructures of those places. We will go back to Army headquarters, and our experts will write the final report, and the Army headquarters will take the final decision. Approval for the barrack has been granted already, and what we are here for is just to put effect to that approval So you can be assured that it will be as soon as possible, he said. Can you imagine? In his remark, Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello extolled the army for the gesture and commended its effort in keeping Kogi peaceful. What is it? Jihad. Already killed it. Look at it. A state that have shared borders with 9 states in Nigeria. So that is what it is all about and nothing more.